that are some of my local and a few states away. Let's put it that way. That can vouch, and they're not setups. They're not people that I asked to get on here and do anything. They don't have to talk a second. You don't have to believe a word. But we have yet to lose a home. And as a matter of fact, in Greg's particular case, we're in an appeal now, and they've had to hire other attorneys because I did a 1.5-page brief is all. Larry knows my little famous brief, and all of a sudden they're running scared, and the court's giving them some orders, and they don't know how the hell to respond to it. So all they do is keep filing extension after extension after extension. And in the meanwhile, we're going to sue the hell out of the other attorneys. So, our system works, and that's all we can say. But, Larry, I want you to talk a little bit about what you do and what you've done and your success in the past.
Sure, and I just want to kind of build on what you were just saying, which is that what you've done is kind of permanently delayed foreclosure. And you can probably keep on doing that year after year after year, but we're working on developing systems that are even better than that. We're actually going to get foreclosure cases dismissed and, the judgment and if you have one, or the mortgage just completely out of the picture. And again, we're not going to guarantee anything, at least not yet, but we're working on systems, and we think that these are going to be very successful. So as we develop these programs, anything that we know, we're going to put on the website because we want to share it with everybody. Basically, from my standpoint, as Jesse said, I filed a number of mostly cases in federal court and taken tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars from credit card companies, from collection agencies, from credit bureaus, and these are particularly for violations of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and something that we're getting into more and more right now is what's called the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which is when you get certain kinds of phone calls, whether it be pre-recorded messages or phone calls to your cell phone, especially, or your home phone, especially if you're on the federal do not call list. But that's one of the things that we're really working on to try to develop systems that are, again, the key is to not only get these people out of your life, but to get them to pay you money before they do that. And like I said, I've collected tens of thousands of dollars so far in settlements and judgments, and I'm just getting warmed up. I've got a lot more defendants that I'm in the process of suing. I'll probably be filing myself some additional lawsuits as well. So this is the kind of thing that we really want our members to take advantage of. And as Jesse said, we're going to give you the information, we're going to give you the resources, and, we're doing the webinars, we're doing the forum, but you got to be proactive. And one of the things we really want to emphasize is this can be a lot of fun if you know what you're doing. And you start, changing your life and getting money in your pocket, and that's the goal. And that's what we want all our members to take advantage of.
Jeff, you want to open this up for questions?
Well, how about John? Let's have John step out and speak on his specialty.
Well, I can speak on mine. I can't touch what Larry and Jesse's done. That's awesome. But what I've done over the years is I just avoid controversy. So for years I thought I could be a smart guy and go in there and try to argue collection cases, and it doesn't work that well. So what I decided to do was just create the same debt scenario that the banks were creating against people that I was helping. So, for example, if Citibank sues you, you get the judgment lien, they can garnish your wages. And so then Discover can sue you, and then when Citibank is finished garnishing wages, Discover can then garnish wages, so they have to wait in line. So when I realized that, I decided I would just create a lawsuit, judgment lien, and put that in front of every creditor in the world and keep it there forever because it's a friendly debt. And so that's the system I set up. It takes about 3 months to put in place. And then the other people that don't have wages, if they have cash in the bank, we can avoid the bank levy even from the IRS by simply changing the relationship that the people have as a signer on the account from, like you normally have, a personal signer on the account. We change that to a corporate account so that the signer does not have exclusive rights. So just a couple of changes to your relationship to property and money is enough to preclude the entire world, with very few exceptions, that is, from taking any of your property. So I just put that system in place, and it's just worked so well over the years. It's just worked really well.
Very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in time, you guys, did you want to open it up for questions and answers?
Yeah, because we want to limit this call tonight. Last time we were on this call, it was 4 hours. So that'll give them about an hour. We want to wrap it up around 9:30 or so.
Okay. So for those of you who have questions, press *2 and raise your hands, and you will be recognized. And it'll probably take a moment for the board to populate. So just press *2, and so that it'll raise your hand, and I will recognize you. And just as a sideline, when they talk in terms of credit cards and that sort of thing, this also applies to any kind of form of debt collection, including homeowners associations. So
correct.
Don't limit yourself by thinking only in terms of credit cards. There are other debt collection activities going on in addition to just credit cards.
Definitely. It could be medical bills, and personally, one of my favorite things to do is sue attorneys and the law firms that they represent.
Right. I don't see anybody with a *2 question.
You got to be kidding me.
Luz, you had a question?
Yeah. Hi, Jeff. It's Maritza. You might actually announce it *6 to be on to raise your hand to ask a question.
Oh, that's right. You never did do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Luckily, I remember that from a previous call. So, I hang on for a second. I need to get out of it. Sorry, I had to get out of earshot. So I am facing a judgment on a credit card that's fairly small. If it proceeds as a judgment, whatever your process is will be effective for that as well?
Absolutely. But why are you facing a judgment? Where are you at?
It's a credit card that I haven't been able to pay.
No, I understand that, but you said I'm facing a judgment. Have you been served on it? Have you been to court already on it?
I haven't been on court. Court case is coming up on Monday. And
okay, so you've been served. Have you answered it? Have you done anything?
I haven't done anything with it.
Okay, yeah, you need to answer.
When did they serve you?
In February. It's within.
Okay. Has it been more than 20 days?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, Larry. As long as you haven't had a default from the clerk, if you hurry up and you just file a simple motion for an extension of time.
I tried. I'm not. It's too late to do that. I tried to do that last week.
Not too late.
Did the clerk default you?
Yeah, it's too late. I even went to those self-help legal.
You can get it set aside. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to file a motion to set aside the default judgment. What is the hearing on Monday that you're facing?
It's a motion where the attorney he's asking for a motion for judgment.
Is it a motion for summary judgment or default judgment?
Let me pull it up.
It sounds like small claims where they don't use the word summary.
Yeah.
They say motion for judgment. But we just did that for another client. We filed a request for leave to answer out of time. That's the language.
Correct.
Yeah, it's civil. It's not small claims.
All you do is say you have a meritorious defense, and then you ask. In your case, I don't know if I'd ask for more time. I might just go ahead and answer. It's a personal choice. I mean, Jesse might have his.
It's a notice of motion and judgment, memorandum of points and authorities, declaration, and
an affidavit will overcome their statements because they have no real affidavit, no competent fact witness.
He also includes an agreement that I had signed last year.
Is your signature on it?
Yeah, a payment agreement that I ended up breaching on.
Dated? Is it dated?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the original signature.
Yeah, I mean it's a copy of the agreement, so. But
it's a copy or original?
It's a copy.
Well, then how do you know that represents the original?
Yeah.
Can you testify under penalty of perjury that copy is an exact copy of the original document you have signed?
I
looked at it.
I'm not going to argue. I signed the documents.
Well, it's not a question of arguing. It's a question of making them prove their case, I'm not trying to be antagonistic, but don't help them win their case, and that's true of any situation. But you still have plenty of recourse, and even if you get a judgment against you, which obviously everybody hopes you avoid, you still have recourse by suing the attorneys, by suing if there's a collection agency involved. They've almost certainly, I've never seen an instance where debt collectors have not violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I've never once seen it.
Yeah, the whole system is antagonistic. You always want to deny, make them prove their case. If they come in with a copy of an agreement, say, that's not my signature. Make them prove it.
Or I can't identify that as a copy,
right.
exact copy of the original.
Right. You never give them the case. I mean, you could give them the case. I don't see what's the point then. Why do you even try it? You can look at it that way. I like to look at it in terms of risk. What's at risk? Wage income and bank account cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you just take the steps to protect that, and it doesn't matter. And don't even look at that particular account. I like to think that, imagine if